What's up, icons? Welcome to On the Reel with Cameron Fous, where I just want to talk about shit that I like talking about. And hopefully, if you're an entrepreneur or a creator or you love traveling, you might like this also. Today, we're going to talk about the Canon EOS R5. Norbert.
What's up?
Just getting announced in the last few days. They actually rumored it not too long ago that it was going to be like a 70 to 80 megapixel camera in the release. But they just released specs that were actually just confirmed by Canon, and they're pretty mind-blowingly unreal. Now, I actually used to have the Canon EOS R. I've been trying to potentially make the switch away from Sony for years now, and I don't know, how long have we been waiting for the fucking Sony a7S III to come out?
I think it's been like 2 years now.
It's been like 2 years. Still waiting. Sony still fucking with me here. Now, I would like to just stick with Sony. The problem is they keep releasing a bunch of stupid A6000 series that aren't full frame, that release a fucking flip screen into the microphone, which is also really stupid. Now, the Canon EOS R came out, and so I went and bought one, and I actually really liked that camera. Great camera, perfect size, full frame, but there were some big problems that happened with that camera. They had a 4K crop, so it automatically went from like this 4K thing that you think you got a full frame camera, but guess what? Reality check, it's more like an APS-C camera.
It's literally is an APS-C camera. Even like it's got a higher crop than that. What some say it's 1.8, some say it's 1.7, which would be APS-C.
Yeah.
But like some people are like, oh no, it's like an 1.8, which is like closer to Micro Four Third.
On top of that, it probably was a Micro Four Third because you have to use an adapter to use any of the lenses that you want to use, unless you buy an RF lens, which are like the size of a fucking rocket cannon. I don't know what. Now, those lenses do look cool, but when it comes to vlogging or anything like that, size does matter, and so does weight. So that was kind of a big turnoff for me for that camera, because I had to have also the adapter for, I was using the 14 to 20 Tokina f2 lens, which was actually a really cool setup. But the other problem was that when you switch to photo mode, it actually completely cropped and had this big, massive vignette like this when I tried to take any photos with a 14 to 20, which was a big problem.
Also
on top of that,
also worth mentioning, there's no InBody Stabilization. So when you turn on,
what I was getting at is that it doesn't have InBody Stabilization. It's got digital stabilization, which actually crops it again.
even more.
So you got a 4K crop, a digital stabilization crop, and the RF adapter lens crop. So at the end of the day, you're probably looking at a Micro Four Thirds.
Basically a 2x, like a 15 millimeter is like
claiming to
30.
be a full frame camera.
Yeah.
Which is bullshit. And so it would appear that Canon listened to our prayers with the Canon EOS R5 and released some new specs that have now been confirmed, which are, now it appears to be about a 45 megapixel camera, which is nice because I know a lot of people that switched from Sony to Canon to go with a 1DX, but when I look at photos from a Canon 1DX versus a Sony a7R III or above, which we shoot at about in the 40 megapixel range, the 1DX is only 20. Now, when I shoot photos, I like to crop things big time. And when you have only 20 megapixels, it makes it much more difficult. You actually have to set up the framing of your shot within that 20 megapixel range, or you're gonna lose a lot of quality when you crop. When you have 40 plus, you can actually frame it however the fuck you want and then crop it, and you're still gonna be super sharp. So I don't like the Canon 1DX. It's also a big beefcake, so I think that's stupid. So as far as I can tell, the Canon EOS R5 is gonna have 40 megapixels plus, and also in the same form factor as the EOS R, which was actually super light. Another big thing, rumored, actually no, confirmed now, 8K at 30 FPS. Now that's pretty mind-blowing. Now, the fact that they have 8K coming out makes me wonder what the fuck Sony's got up their sleeve with the a7S III that they still have no news about, still haven't released.
They are not giving us any news about it.
They're not even teasing us.
No. I wonder what they do. Like, are they going to release something like what 8K RAW in body. What are they gonna do? Because like whatever Canon 1DX Mark III offers right now, 5.5K RAW, which is like a red, like the entry level red camera, the Raven, that costs like 10 grand, and there's the 1DX.
It's all bullshit.
What's
Plus
happening?
the Panasonic S1H that came out. Now
6K.
6K. The only thing that I'm concerned about with the Canon EOS R coming out is potential if they get rid of the flip screen.
I'm looking at this image here, and I zoom in really, really close. I'm looking at the Canon's website right now. There's some kind of a hinge.
I see a hinge here on Tech Radar.
But on the other hand,
if it's an actual photo.
But on the other hand, it could be just like, you know, the people who were in charge for this are like, okay, let's get the EOS R spotty and just put
This
the
isn't,
R5
this
logo
isn't
on
the
it.
fucking EOS R5. I guarantee you that. This photo. I think it's bullshit. I think they're going to fuck with me big time and get rid of that flip screen, which is a pain in the ass. Now, I'm shooting on the A7S III and the A7R3 over here. Neither of them have flip screens. I hate it because I don't know what the fuck I'm looking at, right? And so the big plus with the Canon EOS R is that there was an actual flip screen. But the problem is I live in Bali and I got robbed. I just bought it. I went to the US to see my family, went and picked up a Canon EOS R and a Blackmagic Pocket 4K. Brand new Tokina lens, brand new Sigma lens for the Pocket 4K. Everything got stolen within 2 weeks.
It felt really good. I remember I just landed in Singapore because I went for my visa run.
Yeah.
I was away in Budapest. And you were like, hey, dude, we just got right. Like, you were asking, like, did you take it? I was like, no, I left I left this behind. And you were like, oh, okay.
I woke up and I was in my office and I was like, wait a second. There's no cameras in here, which is kind of a big problem. So all my shit got stolen. Now, continuing on with the Canon EOS R5, rumors, 4K at 120 frames per second. The big question is that I don't know, is it have autofocus?
That's what happened with the EOS R. I don't know if you knew that when we used it, because we had a review on it. At 720p 120, there's no autofocus on that thing.
Yeah.
I just found out I was watching like reviews about it because I kind of want to buy one. And there's like no autofocus when you're in slow-mo. Also, my question is like 8K video, will that be like super cropped? Because if they're going to have like 4K cropped, there's like a high chance that it's going to be like a super intensely cropped 8K.
It's going to be a micro 4/2, a brand new category.
Like 16 mil.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's interesting. But also 8K coming to the consumer market, which is exciting.
The only thing that's stupid is that we're not there. We don't have fucking Wi-Fi fast enough, maybe 5G. Nobody watches anything in 4K rarely on YouTube. Still 1080 fucking dominates the market.
YouTube doesn't even offer 4K versions on the MacBooks because you don't have the screen for it. Like the resolution of the MacBooks is not going up. Like the highest I get is like, I think 1440p usually. It's
stupid. 10K, not 10K, 1080p still dominates the market. So why I don't care about 8K. 8K is stupid. I think we're like 10 years off from fucking watching 8K footage. So for me, that doesn't really mean anything. All that means is a big fucking file that's gonna be a pain in the ass to edit, a pain in the ass to upload, a pain in the ass to fucking airdrop.
I wanted to ask, like even editing right now, like we have like these cameras rolling. And when I put it into a multicam sequence, I have the latest like 16-inch MacBook.
Yeah.
And it struggles with it sometimes.
Fuck 8K. I don't give a fuck about your 8K, Canon. Just fucking stop cropping your 4K. How about that? Why don't you figure that out first?
It would be nice.
Next up is InBody Stabilization, which was a big problem with the Canon EOS R because there was a crop factor. It's just like if you use Warp Stabilizer in Adobe Premiere or even in Final Cut Pro, what it does is it crops out an image inside of your actual resolution and then it cuts it out and zooms in so it has room to actually wobble it. And that's basically what it does inside of the Canon camera, which is cool. But the problem is they already have a 4K crop. You have the fucking RF adapter lens crop, and then they throw in the digital IBIS. So it's a third crop on top of that. So it's nice to see that they're actually coming out with InBody Stabilization, and I believe a lot of the new RF lenses have IBIS built in as well.
Most of them, yeah.
So that will be actually a nice setup. The only problem for me is the size of the RF lenses. They're fucking massive. I haven't felt one in real life. I just see videos.
Have you seen the 35 millimeter? They have a 35 millimeter f1.8, I believe. It's like a tiny little thing.
Tiny little thing.
And it's got IS in it, image stabilization, which is super rare for prime lenses.
Well, that's just fucking crazy. Another thing that we got here that they're doing is they have auto image transfer to your devices through a Canon Cloud app that I saw somewhere on a website. I don't know if they currently are doing that in Canon cameras now or if this is new. It says the Canon EOS R5 will also support automatic transfer of image files from Canon devices to Canon's new image.canon cloud platform. This automatic image transfer makes it easy for people to view their content on other devices on the go. Users can shoot and edit while traveling, which is kind of nice. It also is going to have dual card slots. I don't believe we had dual card slots on the Canon EOS R.
It's not like a big deal though. Like a bunch of people complain about it, but like when was the last time we lost like footage from a card?
The only thing that it works good for is for doing long interviews.
Or vetting. I don't think it does like dual video recording. It does for photos. It does redundancy.
Yeah.
So for videos, I don't think it does anything.
I think really it's just the feeling secure that you're good.
Probably never going to use it.
To go. Yeah. They're also coming out with 9 new RF lenses, which is nice because it's just kind of like Apple going from whatever the fuck it used to be to the new Lightning thing, and then everybody flipping out because they got to buy new lenses. It's part of marketing. It's part of adapting to new things. Also, new technology comes out. Now, Apple is still holding on to this bullshit and not just going USB-C, even though they already did it in their iPad. They did it in their MacBook. It would be really convenient if I could just plug my iPhone in to all my ports.
You did it the other day. I remember you were going for the charger. I was like, I don't think that's going to work.
It's not going to work. Yeah. Not going to work, guys.
Stupid iPhone. I think in the EU, it's off topic, but I think in the EU, they just passed some kind of a law that they're going to force manufacturers to have uniform charging ports.
I like it. I like the EU. Brexit, you don't have to fucking listen to it. You guys are on your own now. I like it. Yeah, get out of there. UK, I like the UK. Europe, I can't say that I really like Europe.
UK is not a part of the Europe, though.
No.
Anymore.
That's what I'm saying. It's different.
Yeah.
Like every city I go to in Europe, I'm like, cool, beautiful architecture. But as far as like me liking it there, it's just not my vibe.
I heard you like Paris a lot.
Yeah, I don't like Paris. I love London. London is great. London's awesome. Now, big question in here, guys, is when does it come out? And also, what is the price? Now, these are both kind of rumored. I don't think any of them are actually official yet. I've been looking up what other people are saying, and I've seen multiple things. Some people saying, as far as this camera jabber says, they are estimating between 2,300 pounds and $2,300, which I think is going to be more expensive than that. If this is shooting 8K, this is going to be more upwards of like a Panasonic S1H, S1R price range. It's hard to say. Nobody knows. Other people say release date scheduled for release in 2020. Fucking good call there, buddy. But other things I read is that summer 2020 and also potentially July 2020. And there's also February 27th, a camera show in Japan where they're rumored, or I believe maybe even confirmed, going to be releasing the actual camera and showcasing the camera. So we're actually going to see in how long is that? That's in like 2 weeks. February. It's Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day.
It's on Canon's website. On the very bottom, it says additional information, and they telling us that from February 27th to March 1st, you can have your hands on them.
All right.
So probably gonna know more about it.
So February 27th, guys, big day for the Canon EOS R5. I would love to get my hands on one. Potentially, this could be the moment I finally officially get out of Dodge, because I was saying the other day, if Canon releases this fucking camera before Sony even says anything about a potential Sony a7S III, then I might just have to officially make the move and go with Canon. But I still haven't seen the camera. I still haven't touched it. Still haven't felt it. And I know exactly what's going to happen. Sony isn't going to talk about the new Sony a7S III. Canon is going to release this camera. And then as soon as I switch over, Sony's going to release the a7S III. It's going to blow the Canon EOS R5 out of the water. And I'll be really fucking mad.
I don't know if that's going to happen. Canon is like the big name in cameras. They were like the underdog for the last couple of years. I feel like they definitely, like what I've seen from the lenses and everything, like review-wise, they are like way ahead of Nikon and Sony in quality of the glass that they give you. So now they're gonna pile fucking money into the bodies because professionals gonna need it. The EOS R was like a mediocre camera.
All I know is that that's what's gonna happen. And Sony's gonna release it, and I'm gonna be upset that I switched because I just switched, and then Sony's finally gonna give me what I wanted, and it's gonna be too late. But anyways, guys, that is it for today's episode of On the Reel with Cameron Fous. Let me know what your thoughts. Let me know if you're also switching to Canon recently, or if you're a Sony user, Panasonic user. I've used Sony, Panasonic, and Canon. I'm still all full force with Sony till they come out with this new EOS R5, because I might have to make the switch. But anyways, guys, if you like this show, please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next episode of On the Reel with Cameron Fous.